Hi, this is Chrissy Incognito, and welcome to another episode of my show. Now, you might be wondering why I'm incognito. This is my alter ego that can say things that I cannot otherwise say unless I was incognito. So, thank you for returning. In order to understand more about this episode, view the previous episode. Happy listening. So, I'm with Bob. Now, the thing with Bob, and I've had to really examine this over the years because I needed to be truthful with myself. I needed to be realistic and take responsibility. And I've come to a few conclusions. Okay, I was not attracted to him, but he was so wonderful and so great and so loving and kind and sweet and funny and smart and artistic that I couldn't help but fall in love with him. But I truly didn't understand what a significant factor attraction was in a relationship. Now, I will have an episode called Attraction Shouldn't Be the Root to All Evil, and I still abide by that. I don't think just simply because you're attracted to somebody, your whole life should derail, meaning, that you don't make good decisions or you leave somebody just because you're attracted to somebody. Like, that is just ridiculous. And that happens all the time, which I don't get it because to me, there needs to be a little bit something more on the ball. Even if it was just an affair, right? Like, I'm single, you're single. I don't plan on dating you. You don't plan on dating me, but we're spending time together. You got to have a little bit more on the ball than just attraction. But anyway, so I wasn't attracted to him. He had custody of the two kids, which that's how bad his wife was. And we will get into that. There's a lot to the story. Kids were wonderful. They were great. They were loving and they were patient and everything. But I am not a kid person. That's the problem. I don't want anybody in my space. I don't want to have to alter my language. I don't want to have to explain things. It's just how I am. You know how some people just don't like animals, which I cannot understand? I just am not a kid person. I just don't feel comfortable around them. I don't know what to say to them. I don't know how much they should know. And a lot of times I'm like, why are you telling them that? They don't need to know that? So the kids, the attraction, and no money. Now, money is not everything, but I'm broke, you're broke. We can't even have a vacation. We can't even go someplace. We can't do anything, right? And so these seem to have been the three motivating factors of me breaking up with Bob. Okay. I've had to I've had to really examine this over the years and take responsibility that if that is being shallow, then I was being shallow. It's just what it is. I've had when I've thought about it, I've had to examine if he was attractive, he had these other two things, would I have still wanted to stay? Or if he had these other two things, but he had money, would I have stayed? Kids weren't a factor. Kids were a factor because there was no money because he had kids. So if there weren't any kids, yeah, he probably would have had money because he had a good job. So I never really like took the kids out of the mix, so to speak, and they were great and wonderful. So I had to really examine this. And there was a point in my life that I said if he was attractive and he still had this other stuff going on, I would have left. And I had to say to myself, are you really being truthful with yourself? Or are you saying something that you're supposed to be saying? Meaning, it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter. Attraction should not be the determining factor. So y- there were years in there that I thought about it and I was like, no, I still would have left. And so every so often I would re-examine it to see if I don't think I was being truthful to myself. But when I examined it, I was like, well, there was no other route that this was going to go. I mean, okay, I'm attracted to him, but we got nothing going on, you know? So then I said to myself, if he had money, but still had these other two factors, would I have stayed? And I kind of said to myself, yes, right? So over here, I had to look at the situation and analyze it and take responsibility for whatever the answer might have been. And I said, if he was attractive, but he had no money and the kids, would I have stayed? And in my head, I said, no, I wouldn't have stayed. And on this scenario, I said to myself, if he had money, but he still was unattractive and he had the kids, would I have stayed? And I said yes, because we could have gotten through all the bumps and everything and been like a real family. We would have had the means to be a real family and go places and do things and have things and really like make a life together. But with my money situation and his money situation, we were never going to move forward in any sort of way. So when I examined this, I said, if he had money, I would have stayed because we could have had a life together, meaningful life together. And not the money wasn't meaningful, but the things we were going to do were meaningful. Okay. And then I had to re examine again. If he was attractive, would I have stayed? And somewhere in there, I said yes to myself. My answer changed from no, I wouldn't have stayed because we would have still been stuck to, yeah, I think would have stayed. Okay. And that's going to kind of transition into the Greg episode.